Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm DJ Ross in Mountain View, California.
Each week, hey, DJ Ross,
hey, what's going on? Hey,
what's up, guys?
Randy Dickinson.
Yep. Each week on Video Game Hangover, we talk, I don't know what that was, I'm sorry. We talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week we're playing Journey to the Savage Planet.
Hey, Journey to the Savage Planet.
Journey to the Fred Savage Planet.
Oh, getting very interesting.
That's the direct-to-video sequel. I'm not sure what. Yeah, and we're getting back to Death Stranding, Star Trek Online, and Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, just the greatest hits got them lined up for this episode.
So DJ's playing some games.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yep. Just going from Star Trek Online to Final Fantasy XIV with a little Death Stranding in between.
Had a real MMO weekend. It's good.
Yep.
People say, they like to unplug on the weekend. I just remain plugged in for 48 hours straight. There's no escape.
Plug everything in.
What else can I plug into?
Right, exactly. But, you're a responsible adult. It's Monday now. You've showered. You've gone to work.
Yes, both those things are true.
So you can unplug as well. You're not sacrificing, your life, your ability to be productive as an adult.
Right.
To play Star Trek and Final Fantasy.
No, unfortunately, I'm not there yet.
Unfortunately, do you aspire to that?
I don't know. I mean, if I didn't have to unplug, that'd be terrific. And I do like to go outside once in a while to make sure that, the sun is still warm.
Have you ever been that kind of gamer? Have you for an MMO specifically? I've never played an MMO, so I don't have that sort of experience of just sitting in front of my computer 24 hours a day.
I've never done a 24-hour stint outside of the Extra Life thing every year.
Right.
But I mean, even during that, I'll step away for a while, go outside. No, I don't think I've ever done just morning until the next morning, I guess. 24 hours playing the same thing. No.
Yeah. No real world consequences to your video game choices. You've never almost lost your job or gotten on academic probation or anything crazy like that.
No.
Sacrificed a relationship.
No. I talked about it on here have I talked about it on here? I very nearly did not turn in a final paper for one of the last classes I was taking in school.
Oh, really?
Because I was playing Mario Super Picross. I don't know what it is. I mean, that game is really good.
Yep. Oh, you have a Picross problem, though.
I do, and I've talked about it.
Picross, really.
I mean, it's like the closest thing I had to an actual addiction. I'm only half joking.
Right.
So I have to be careful with those Picross games because if I hadn't turned in that paper, I don't know. Maybe would not have graduated on time.
Wow.
But lo and behold, I did. I'm pretty sure I got an A in that class, or actually more likely I was thinking it pass, not pass. So everything worked out.
Good. Well, excellent.
And you said you have no similar experiences?
No, not with MMOs. I mean, certainly the most addictive and stupid I've gotten about video games is probably Animal Crossing.
Is it?
Yeah, probably.
I thought you were on the record as saying, you tend to go for the shorter sessions in that game.
I think over time, but initially the initial rush of of discovering everything in New Leaf specifically led to a lot of me getting up in the morning and showering and getting dressed and driving to work and then sitting in the parking lot at work going, maybe I could shake a few trees. Maybe I can, if I wait just a few minutes longer, the shops will open. I can trade some stuff. And then sort of bolting into the front door going, sorry, I'm running late. Right. Yeah. And then having to realize, I just can't leave the house with the 3DS anymore. I have to be
for your own good.
For my own good. Yeah. And my ability to, continue paying my bills and feeding myself.
Let me tell you, I'm really not a morning person. I'd be fine if the day started at 10 a.m. That'd be great.
Yeah.
The first couple weeks I had Animal Crossing, not New Leaf, Wild World on the DS. It was the first Animal Crossing game I'd ever played. Mm-hmm. I was up at 6 or 7 a.m. every day, no complaints. I was just I want to see what they got in the store today.
Yeah,
what are they going to sell me?
I gotta go to the shops. Yeah, absolutely.
It was like Christmas every single day for weeks, weeks of my adult life. So that was had a pretty profound effect. I was not expecting.
Yep. Good. I did promise one of our listeners on Twitter that I would not allow every show to turn into an Animal Crossing show, so I'm going to quickly move on.
It's like, well, now here we are.
Yep. Sorry. Definitely not an Animal Crossing show. This is a Journey to a Savage Planet show.
Oh.
Yep. But first,
Fred Savage made a special guest appearance just for this, so we'd better.
Yep. I want to point out before we get into the video gamey part of our show here that if you are standing in line in Boston right now waiting to get into PAX, I'm probably in line with you. So look around, yell my name really loud if I jump up and down and come rushing up to you. You found me. Congratulations. But yeah, so long version longer. I'm in Boston for PAX this weekend. Boston? That's how you say that, right?
I want to work on that a little bit before you really want to blend in.
I don't blend in anywhere. But yeah. So if you're at PAX, I'm at PAX. We should hang out. We should at the very least say hello. So find me on the social media at VGHangover or at Randy_erect on Twitter, and let me know your location, and I will find you, or you will find me, or we will find each other. I have pins. I have what else do I have? I have stickers. I don't know. Get an adult beverage or something. Play a video game. Yeah, I don't know. But find me. It'd be cool to meet you.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Wish I could go. I will be barricaded inside my apartment trying not to get the coronavirus.
I will be throwing caution to the wind.
I know. I mean, it's like, It's kind of saying it as a joke, but like, there's going to be a lot of people in that building. Who knows where they've been?
Mm-hmm. With making questionable health choices.
Yeah.
So
a lot of developers have decided that they're not going.
Yeah. So, I mean, one big publisher, Sony, decided, no, we're going to stay home. We're not going to do the PAX thing. So, yeah, they shut it down. I don't know. I'm not sure who's going to be there. A lot of indie folks who can't afford to do elsewise. Maybe. Yeah. But
the director or producer of Final Fantasy XIV canceled his appearance.
Oh, really?
I was like, I kind of want to see that. Oh, he's not going anymore? Okay. Save some airfare.
He's going to live long enough to make Final Fantasy 15.
Well, no, they made that one already.
Oh, did they?
Gotta go up a couple numbers.
21.
There you go. That's his alibi now. But yeah, I'm hopefully everybody go and stays healthy. Use your hand sanitizer. And wear those face masks if you got them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hand sanitizer is your friend.
Do the face masks help?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I was like, we have really bad wildfires every year now. That's just what it's like to live in California. So I've got, I actually got like a pretty nice mask. It's terrifying. It looks like, I should be wearing like the hazmat suit to go along with it. But that's just for like, ash particles in the air. I don't know what happens when it comes down to like filtering out a disease.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of mask you need.
I don't know. Let's see. Livescience.com says no. The answer is no.
No, you can't. The mask doesn't do anything?
The regular surgical face masks don't do anything. The ones that you could probably buy at Walgreens don't do a thing. Yeah. A more specialized mask known as an N95 respirator can protect against the coronavirus.
Yep. Oh, really?
Yeah. It's thicker than a surgical mask.
It's got the little vent on the front.
It says they're not recommended. Yes, it's got a little particle filter vent. Yeah. This doctor they're interviewing does not recommend them for public use.
Oh. So what does that mean? Just at home?
It's challenging to put them on properly and wear them for long periods of time.
Oh. Because they do get a little uncomfortable.
They're very claustrophobic, it says.
A little stifling.
Yeah. So yeah.
Although it's either that or get the coronavirus. Yeah. Your choice.
Right. So if you find me at PAX East, I might not shake your hand. We'll do the little elbow bump and try not to make direct eye contact. I really don't know how you get the coronavirus.
You would just beam the coronavirus into their eyes.
Exactly. Just avert your gaze.
But yeah. It's like Medusa out there.
This might be my last podcast. I don't know. If I get quarantined, I'll just continue to make podcasts. I'll just talk about every video game I can think of. We'll just broadcast the whole thing.
Well, that'll be a very interesting show.
Yeah. But coronavirus, a very serious thing. Lots of people dying. Lots of people very, very ill.
Kind of frightening.
Certainly don't intend to make fun of that situation. But yeah.
Just trying to get people prepared if you're going to be in a large crowd over the weekend.
Yeah. 70,000 gamers or so.
Mm-hmm. It's too many gamers, if you ask me.
It's 69,000 too many. Yeah. So we'll see. It should be interesting at the very least.
I hope everybody going has a good time. It should be fun.
Definitely. Plus, I get to be in Boston with, gamer friends. So that's a plus as well. Yeah.
Do viruses not like the cold? Is that... I don't know if I'm thinking of something else. That may just not make any sense.
No. There was that episode of The X-Files.
Well, that was very bad because that's where the virus lived.
Yeah. There's the movie The Thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got.
Well, based on those two reference points, probably going to die this weekend.
Probably. It's really
or
only going to be...
at least be taken over by some sort of alien parasite.
Right. Which would be cool, really. 40 degrees in Boston this week, so really not cold enough for ice-borne mutation monsters.
Well, you can always hope.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Journey to the Savage Planet.
Okay, here we go.
Yep. This is a game I'm playing.
All right.
Yep. I'm having a good time with it. I find I'm quite addicted to it after spending a chunk of my weekend with this fun little game. Ooh. I remember seeing a trailer for it, maybe E3-ish last year, and going, "Oh, it looks like fun," and then it disappeared. And I was clicking through videos on YouTube the other day and was like, "Oh, here's IGN's video review of Journey to the Savage Planet." I'm like, "Oh, cool. When does that come out?" And apparently it came out a month ago.
Oh yeah, that's how it is now.
The call is coming from inside the house. So
I kind of like the shortened hype cycle. Even if it means there just is no hype cycle at this point, or you just don't notice it. Where it's like, oh, the cool game is already out. Oh, it's been out for like 3 years already.
Yeah, and the way that things sort of make their way to the Switch is weird because it seems like every game ever sort of made is finally being ported to the Switch. So I'm like, oh, cool new game on the Switch. And oh, no, wait, this is actually a PC game that came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, you buy yourself a little time just being like, oh, well, it wasn't on the Switch before.
Right.
So now it is.
Journey to the Savage Planet is not one of those. It's not on the Switch yet. It is Xbox, PC, and I believe PS4. Well, I know PS4 because that's where I'm playing it right now. But yeah, that's a pretty short sort of hype cycle, about 6 months. Yeah, so it is a kind of exploration-based sci-fi game, as the title would indicate. You are an explorer who is put on a spaceship and jettisoned out into space to a planet that is believed to be uninhabited. And you are there to catalog everything on the planet, flora and fauna alike, to determine if it would be inhabitable by people. Apparently the Earth is not doing so well, and we are looking desperately for new places we can colonize. So yeah, you are given a little scanner, a little recorder, and a little pop gun for self-defense to go out into the world and scan everything you can possibly find. So the early hours of it are you kind of stumbling out of your spaceship, getting your bearings, trying to figure out where you are, and what's around you, and just cataloging stuff. Just, oh, there's a cool new plant I've never seen before. There's a weird little critter I've never seen before.
Just scanning stuff.
Just scanning stuff. Eventually you make your way around a bend and there's alien artifacts and a giant citadel, and holy crap, I thought you were the first person on this planet. Dun, dun, dun. And now you have to sort of figure out what the mystery of the citadel is.
They're not just aliens hanging out around the citadel?
No, not yet. No, everything appears to have been abandoned. There are lots of ruins, and a giant kind of citadel spire thing that you have to make your way up. Before you can make your way up, you have to sort of, continue to catalog, continue to explore, find out what resources you have on the planet that you can kind of break down into carbon, silicon. What are some of the other ones I found? Probably just carbon and silicon right now, and turn those into fuel for your jetpack, upgrades for your boots, things that will allow you to climb and swing and jump further, faster, and longer, so that you can explore further and further and further. So there are elements of a lot of different games kind of mashed into this one. It feels a lot like No Man's Sky. In a sense, where you're a lot of weird things happening around you, and plants and animals that you've never seen before, and you're just trying to figure out, is it friendly? Is it going to eat me? And cataloging. Is
this
all
just
of
like
that stuff.
not No Man's Sky? Is this like SteamWorld Dig in reverse? You're just going up a tower instead.
I've not made that connection. There is an upgrade cycle, obviously. Like I said, there you were sort of exploring for resources to be able to explore further. So there's a little Metroidvania kind of in that, where you'll find doors or attach points for a tether, or what's the word I'm looking for? A zip line?
A grapple beam.
A grapple, something like that, exactly. But you don't have that thing yet. So that is sort of locking you out of corners of the map that you haven't been able to explore yet. So you go back and you look for, stones you haven't turned over yet and crevasses you have not gazed into yet. It's really kind of interesting. I've had a really good time with it. The pacing is pretty satisfying. It sort of throws enough new stuff at you at enough of a drip that it continues to be kind of intriguing. The game itself has a really funny sense of humor to it, where you're on the spaceship alone, and you only have periodic communication from the corporation you work for back home. And they're a bit of a ragtag, fly by the seat of their pants kind of operation. So every time you go back to your ship to upgrade or to heal yourself, or those are kind of the two reasons you go back more than anything. You get little video messages from home, and they're full motion video of a guy like in a scientist jacket sort of explaining to you what your next mission is and what he's learned from the information you've sent back thus far. And he is the CEO of the company you work for, which they say proudly is the 4th best space exploration company on Earth. And everything you have is really kind of done on a budget. Everything is sort of held together with duct tape and hopes and prayers. So it's not a lot of high-tech resources available to you. Everything feels a little bit janky, which kind of makes it, again, a little more endearing, a little more fun. It's not super slick sci-fi. It's you could die at any moment kind of sci-fi. The Outer Wilds kind of like that, where everything felt a little rickety and janky and broken and half-assed. But that was kind of part of the sweet charm of it.
So you're the only one on your expedition?
You're the only one on the expedition. You eventually have the ability to make a meat buddy.
Oh, of course.
You can clone yourself and co-op with somebody else. They play as a clone of you.
Okay.
But I'm playing solo at this point. I've not made a meat buddy because that sounds disgusting.
Is that what it's actually called in the game?
It's called a meat buddy. Yeah, there's a machine in your
That's terrible.
On your ship that you put in scraps of meat from the little critters on the planet that you kill, and feed into the meat buddy, and they make a clone of you.
Why don't they just call it a clone machine?
I don't know, because they're trying to be funny.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah. There's an accompanying little infomercial that goes with the reveal of the meat buddy, and it's gross. I'm like, all right, man, I'm through the gaze of being a vegan here, obviously, and I'm totally grossed out by this. But I can't imagine anybody watching this and not being grossed out by it. It looks like a horror movie. Yeah.
Just imagine a bunch of like ground beef going into like a little Play-Doh mold shaped like a human.
Yep. That's surprisingly on brand, DJ. Yep.
Okay.
But it's I'm having a good time with it. It's like I said, it's a lot of exploration. It's a lot of oh geez, I wonder, there's something look like there's a glowy bit up there. I wonder if I can get up on top of that rock. Can I sort of get some leverage to be able to jump from this thing? Can I upgrade my backpack to be able to do a double jump to get to a hidden spot where I get an upgrade to my boots that allow me to climb up a wall? And a lot of that kind of like lather, rinse, repeat. So maybe that's where the SteamWorld Dig comes in, because I like that little feedback cycle if done well in a video game. And
so it's not necessarily like you are just exploring the Citadel. You have the whole region around it to kind of unlock and explore Metroid style.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The Citadel is more just the kind of the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So the early hours are essentially you piecing together enough upgrades to be able to get even near kind of the front door of the Citadel and to try to figure out what the sort of central mystery of who was here before me.
Okay.
Is.
So you haven't been inside yet?
I've not, no.
Oh, maybe there's still aliens just hanging out inside.
All the aliens I've encountered thus far have been little monsters, little versions of little chickens or little lizard things or stuff like that. And some of them are kind of friendly, and some of them leave you alone if you leave them alone. But some of them are pretty hostile. And this is where I think the game sort of deviates a little bit from kind of what I want it to be to what maybe the developers felt it had to be, is that it turns out that there's sort of like occasionally little like mini boss battles with aggressive aliens, who have little glowy bits that they only show you during specific points in their fight cycle. And you have to shoot the little glowy bit with your ray gun until they fall over dead.
Of course.
Yeah, and that stuff feels not fun.
Just because it's like not well designed, or you don't like boss battles in general.
Yeah, I generally don't have a lot of patience for that kind of thing in a game. If you're going to say I made this cool game with this really beautiful and kind of neon colored, fascinating open world for you to explore, why would you throw monsters in it that I have to have fights with? Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's not what I want the game to be. I was content with walking around cataloging everything and trying to figure out how to jump across the chasm to get to the next thing I know I have to unlock. I don't need to beat my head against a wall with a lizard thing who only shows you his tail after the third cycle in his attack, and you got to shoot the little glowy bit and then lather, rinse, repeat that. And
it sounds like you got the pattern down. It should be no problem to just take out these lizard guys.
I'm getting really good at getting lizards, at this point. And yeah, again, you get little upgrades too that make it easier for you to fight. You upgrade your little plasma beam gun. You can unlock little jets for your boots that allow you to dodge left and dodge right, so you can miss their attacks and then spin around and shoot them from behind. So some of it's pretty well fleshed out, and if I was here for it, that's what I would probably find satisfying, but it is not the part of the game that I find most compelling at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is this all in first person, or is it like a third person?
No, it's all first person. It'd be great if it was third. Unfortunately, I prefer third over first, but no, it's all first person.
It sounds like kind of like the boss fights in Metroid Prime, which I thought were okay. Just having to spin stuff around or spin around stuff in first person.
Sure, that's a fair comparison. Yeah.
I did not really think that would work well. Like, I didn't think Metroid as a first person game would work that well.
No, nor did I.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And those are all great games. Yeah. So I dig it. I dig most of it. Every now and then a monster shows up and he's needlessly hostile towards me despite trying to give him a wide berth. And I find that part really annoying. But everything else zipping around this planet and trying to sort of unlock its mysteries and unlock the upgrades to be able to unlock more mysteries feels very satisfying. And what was the other thing that I really dig? Oh, I like the music a lot. I think there's some fun little interstitial music that pops up. That's this weird kind of like Western / electronica kind of thing. That is kind of pretty well done. The everything on the planet is very kind of neon and gooey. Everything has kind of like a blobby kind of weight to it, and is brightly colored. So as things sort of pop or explode, or there's weird little chickens that you kind of kick out of your way. They go and they go flying through the air, but they're all kind of neon colored and feisty. So yeah, rather than kind of a world where everything is kind of gray and moody, they really cranked up the super colorful visuals to make everything seem a little more neon.
Well, that's cool. I mean, you're not on Earth. You might as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, get wacky with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's I've had a good time with it. I think I like games like this. I like a video game where I'm the last person in a sci-fi setting and you've got to sort of figure out the mystery of what happened before. As I think back on games like No Man's Sky or Prey or what's the one I played recently? For some reason the name escaped. Yes. Yeah, actually that was not the one I was thinking of, but that's exactly what that situation that game is.
Oh, what were you thinking of then?
I'm not sure. I thought of it earlier today as I was sort of like washing dishes. I'm like, I'll have to compare it to this other game on the podcast tonight, and then now it's gone. It went away. If it comes back to me, I will let you know.
What was the one where you were like a criminal? It was like a roguelike, and you kept like respawning because the spaceship exploded or something.
Oh, Void Bastards.
Void Bastards. That's it.
Yep. That was not the one I was comparing it to.
That was not it. Okay, never mind. That's all I got.
That game was fun but very hard. But yeah, no. So I'm having a good time with this, and I like this scenario in a video game. I just wish the developers had the confidence to make it solely about exploration and solving puzzles and you know, finding treasure in a lot of ways, finding upgrades, rather than sort of needlessly throwing nasty monsters at me and making me shoot them with a gun. Man,
speaking about throwing monsters at you and making you shoot them with a gun. Sorry, are you good on...
I'm good. Are you going to Death Stranding on this?
Because I'm going to Death Stranding. Oh, what? How did you know?
That's quite a turn.
How did you know? I am just about to flip the switch down to easy mode in this game. Really? I have... I think I talked about doing this before. Like, I feel like it's not a particularly difficult game. It's just that all the stuff that I feel like the difficulty level is going to affect, I just don't like it. So I want to deal with less of it. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to, like, I've gone back to Death Stranding for the last few weeks. I'm really trying to, like, get through the rest of this game. Because I like the game. I just, like, it's very long, and I feel like I've been playing it since it came out, which was a long time ago. I like this game,
but I don't want to play it anymore.
I'm just like, I want to wrap it up at some point. I mean... I can always go back and replay it because that seems to be like it used to be. I would go back and replay all of Kojima's stuff like tons of times because they just lent themselves to doing that. There was always like extra secrets you could discover. There was just a lot of incentive to go back and play it again. So I'm just like, maybe that's just going to happen again. I should make some time for it. And also I just have to finish the game once to be able to figure that out.
Yeah, you can't replay it until you play it.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, are you really replaying it?
You're not. I don't know. You're just still playing
it. You're just playing it again. Weird. But anyway, so I made some decent progress. I don't know if I ever talked about the zip lines on here. I think I maybe mentioned them in passing. But I got to the point in this game.
I don't remember, zip lines.
Yeah, so it's like so far the game has kind of progressed in stages. So like at the very beginning, you're just running around on foot, delivering stuff on your back, and it's very arduous. And then you get to this area where you can build highways, and it's like, oh wow, this is so different from that first part. This is really cool. And I did that for a really long time. And then I got to this point where you get zip lines. And the zip line is basically, it's how you imagine a zip line would work, where you just like hook onto it and you zip down it to the other end. But in this case, and the way zip lines work in Death Stranding is you can go up a zip line, so it's like a two-way thing. So you can put one on top of a mountain, and like because of the way the zip line works, you can just like zip up to the top of the mountain, then zip back down again if you got one on the other side. And it's great. It's like super fast. It's way more convenient than the highways even, because as much as I like the driving the motorcycles around, that's super fun. They only go where the game has kind of determined that the highways exist. Mm-hmm. So you're just rebuilding like predetermined stretches of highway. But with the zip lines, you can just put them anywhere. So you can just go out. It's like building any other structure in the game. You just have to find a space with enough level ground and without any obstacles around it. You just whip out your little whatever chiral constructor, and it builds a little zipline tower. And you can connect it with other zip lines in the vicinity.
that other players have built?
Yeah, that too. So once you reconnected an area onto the network, other players' ziplines will pop up, and then you've got a whole network of these things.
Oh.
And it's basically just like shortcuts over mountains, and it's way faster than doing the highways. Needless to say, it's way faster than carrying stuff on foot. And it's amazing because it's it's just very convenient, but also it is something that you kind of plan out and build yourself. So you can kind of try and figure out, well, where does it make the most sense to put a zip line? Because it's not like you can just throw them down anywhere. Maybe if you have a ton of resources stockpiled, you can, but I'm trying to be very frugal about where I put these zip lines, just trying to build the most efficient zip line network possible.
Right.
So it's been super fun. It's because I like the whole idea that you're reconstructing the infrastructure in this game. But up to this point, like I said, it's been mostly the highways. Mm-hmm. And with the zip lines, it lets me get a little bit creative and just thinking well, if I put one here, this is kind of in range of this guy's research station or whatever, or this city where I tend to go a lot. And then I start trying to figure out where I can put them down to get them all networked together.
Cool. Oftentimes,
I will want to connect to somebody else's zip line that they've been very generous to construct. I'm just why did this one guy build a zip line immediately next to a cliff face? So it's just 180 degrees of this thing you can't use. So I'll just take their zip line down and put mine up a few feet away. And I'm just that's more like it. And it's been super good. A lot of it has been, as you might expect, just trying to find paths up to, a very high location on a mountain. And then also it's about finding the balance of, a very high point, but also something that you can kind of manageably climb back down from again, because sometimes, you can't put a zip line right outside somebody's front door in most cases. So you can put one kind of nearby, but in a place that you can still reasonably access on foot. So that's been an interesting challenge. And that's kind of the thing that has been just weirdly compelling to me about this game from the start, is just trying to find the most effective routes over really precarious terrain, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You probably ran into a little of that in the beginning.
Yeah, the point at which I sort of built on this thing, I was still just hiking everywhere. So yeah, there was a bike that was propped up outside the door of one of the buildings I eventually went to, but I certainly did not have enough resources to be able to repair it. But yeah, so I was surprised by your revelation that eventually you're zipping around on a motorcycle and building highways, and then taking it even one step further.
And then it gets even better.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's what I really like to do. I just like to, I'll set out from one of the cities or wherever, and I won't even take any of the deliveries I'm supposed to make. I'll just load myself up with some constructors and some little climbing ropes or ladders or whatever, just in with the goal of finding, just scouting out places where I could put a zip line. And then, once I got the whole network set up and connected, I'll go back and then I'll just deliver all these packages in 5 minutes, because it's so great just zipping around on these things.
Cool.
But then what I don't like is when I'm doing this, I just keep getting attacked by ghosts constantly, and it is the worst. And it'd be fine if, I like a stealth game once in a while, but the ghosts in this are invisible. It's really hard to play a stealth game when you can't see any of the enemies, and it's super hard to detect them. And even when they do get aggressive and attack you, just the combat is just not very deep or satisfying. It's just irritating and kind of a distraction from what I want to be doing, which is climbing a mountain and building zip lines.
Yeah. So you feel my pain then, so that you're playing a game that's not quite the game that you want to play.
Yes. Yeah, well, exactly. That's what's going on.
Yep.
And I hear a lot of people talk about this, why is there even combat in this game? I mean, it's kind of mildly interesting to have threats along whatever route you're trying to get through, but I just don't feel like everything needs to deteriorate into a gun battle or a ghost battle or whatever that ends up being. So I'm thinking I might just knock it down to easy, so I can just be Norman Reedus, the I don't know, half delivery man, half construction worker. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no shame in that, right? I mean, you're not locking yourself out of anything. It's not like you'll get the bad ending if you do it that way or anything like that. It's still the same game, and hopefully it takes away some of the BS that you're dealing with.
That's my goal. That's my one hope for this. I did have something super crazy happen though, and this is maybe like a light spoiler. But as I was scouting out places to build these zip lines, there was one space where I wanted to put one. And I'm like, oh, this would be great because it's right in the middle of like 4 or 5 other ones. It'll be like the just the central hub to my zip line network. Except there are just ghosts all around it. So I was like, that's fine. I'll just go out there with a bunch of guns and blood bombs or whatever, and take out these ghosts, because really once you get used to fighting them, it's not a huge deal. It's just irritating when it interrupts me.
You have important zip lines to lay.
Yeah, no, I got stuff I gotta do. Go away, ghost. So I head out there and I'm just like, okay, I'll just let the ghost come and grab me so I can, it'll go into like combat mode and I can shoot it. And that's my foolproof plan. So I just stand out there in the middle of the snow field, and this ghost comes up to me and grabs me. But then it like doesn't go into like the regular combat mode, or I wasn't struggling to break free of its clutches or anything. Maybe I should have done that. But it just like, I don't exactly know what happened, if it ate me or just killed me in some weird, unrecognizable way. But there was like another void out, essentially. Which is just one of the like cataclysmic explosions that you learn about very early in the game. And then I restarted from one of the nearby outposts, but where I had been trying to lay that zipline, now there's just an enormous crater where the map used to be. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize like that could just happen as you were playing the game.
Yeah.
Because that had never happened before. So it's like, could this like... How many times could this happen? Could I just level the entire map because I'm terrible at fighting ghosts? Is that just what would happen?
You're just terraforming,
yeah.
Whatever that word is. Terraforming. Yeah. The Death Stranding map.
Did that happen to you when you were playing this?
I only had that initial incident. There's this kind of a scripted void out that happens early in the game that sort of teaches you what it is. And that's the only one I encountered during the course of the time that I was playing it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the same as me until I got to that point.
Really? That's interesting.
I did not know that the game had just kind of planned for that to be a possibility, which is kind of wild. Like it could just be happening. Maybe other people are just terrible at fighting ghosts, and they're just nuclear bombs going off all the time. So that was weird.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that happens in Kojima games once in a while, where there's just something just so unexpected and surprising. It's one of the reasons I like his games most of the time. But now I just want to turn all that stuff off so I can get back to the other stuff.
Do you know anything about the post game in this? Do you get to a point where there's no more ghosts and you're just free to run deliveries anywhere you want after sort of seeing the ending, or?
I can't imagine there will be no more ghosts at some point. Or, I don't know, like the way the Metal Gear games have always worked is, I mean, they all have a very linear storyline. So you play it up to a certain point, and then you get to the end, and you watch the credits, and then you replay it. But this game, I feel like, I mean, it still has the central storyline, but there's just so much to do, and it's like an open world almost, that I kind of expect that even when you do get to the end, you'll like watch the ending or whatever, and it'll drop you back off at the, wherever you happen to be at that point, and you can go continue making deliveries and things like that.
Yeah.
Because there's like, if you did everything, if you tried to do a completionist run the first time, it would just take forever. Plus there's the whole online connectivity stuff. It just feels like there's like the game will continue on after the ending, but I haven't gotten to that point, so I can't say for certain yes or no. But I could also totally see it having like a New Game Plus or something where you start all the way back over, but you retain certain like abilities or something that you collected on your first playthrough, because that's another thing that the Metal Gear games used to do. I don't know. I don't know anyone who has finished the game other than like like game journalists who are reporting on it, and of course I haven't listened to any of those stories because I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But I definitely don't know anybody who is like in the Death Stranding post game, if that even exists. So it all remains very mysterious.
The internet says, "Are you interested in this?"
Is it going to give away huge
no,
sections
it's
of the
nothing
game?
spoilery. I'm skimming. You will be brought to a point that is 2 weeks before the game's final event.
Okay. Oh, so then there's like the point of no return. You can just go do the end sequence if you want.
Right. At this point, you have access to a safe house, and you'll be able to take on any tasks or activities that you skipped previously in the game, as well as any side orders.
Typical JRPG style, final save point, go take care of your unfinished business kind of deal.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like it's not so much a post game as like a, I don't know, rewind a couple weeks, a couple minutes, and go back and do some of the stuff you didn't do before.
Well, I wonder if there's any incentive to play it again after you finish it then. Like in some of the Metal Gear games, there would be stuff that would change from playthrough to playthrough, so that would be kind of interesting. So who knows? Maybe you can play as Conan O'Brien in the second or third playthrough.
I see a headline here that says Death Stranding finally gets good after you beat it once.
No, don't tell me that.
I don't. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm enjoying it now. What could that possibly mean?
Well, holy crap, this is a whole different game.
Yeah. It just turns into Gradius afterwards.
I don't know.
Okay, well, stay tuned to that once I finally finish this game like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I hope it's sooner than that.
Me too.
Okay. Anyway, your Death Stranding check-in.
For your sake, not for my sake. Cool. I'm not going to play this anymore. I'm done with it. I'll continue to live vicariously through your experience.
But Randy, it gets good after you finish it once.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It seems like a design flaw to me. I don't think that's how video games are supposed to work.
That's just like one of those TV shows where they're like, oh yeah, just watch like 10 or 15 episodes. It gets real good after that point. It's like, what? So why did I have to slog through 10 or 15 hours of all this other stuff?
Because the only show that I can think of that really is that dramatic a departure after its first bunch of episodes is Parks and Rec. Because the first
season is kind of rough.
Is not great, and they really don't have a sense of what the show even is. And then you get to season 2, and you're like, "Here's the show. Here's the one I want to watch."
Yeah,
yeah. So
thankfully, the first season also is only like 6 episodes.
It's pretty brief. Yeah, they were fortunately just trying to figure it out. But by the time they got to season 2, fortunately, they got a season 2.
Yeah,
yeah, and more. They figured out how to make a Parks and Rec episode.
Yeah. Oh, if only Hideo Kojima could learn from Parks and Rec for this next game.
They should collaborate with Amy Poehler.
Yeah. That'd be strange.
That would be indeed odd, yes.
Speaking of TV shows, I bought $300 worth of Star Trek ships this weekend.
What?
So it's Star Trek Online's 10th anniversary. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago. I used to be quite a fan of this game. It actually predates this show because it came out early 2010, I think.
Oh, wow. I don't think I realized it had been around for that long.
No, it's kind of shocking. Let's say, I still follow the news around it for some reason, I guess because I was just so invested in it at some point. I'll just check in once in a while, go to their website, be like, what's new in Star Trek Online? Okay, sure. That looks cool. Fine. I typically won't jump back in for long periods of time. But no, lo and behold, it's the 10th anniversary of this game being out.
And they continue to make new content for it? Or
they're still pumping stuff out for it, which is exciting.
Excellent.
A lot of it is kind of like, you got to pay for it, which is unfortunate. And is one of the reasons why I kind of dropped off playing it in the first place. It just got very grindy. They were acquired by some, I think it's either like a Korean MMO developer or something. Somebody who, like a publisher who is kind of known for just stuffing their games full of like loot boxes and kind of microtransactions. So it got a little gross around the edges. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not a huge fan of that. But I do like to keep up with it, see what's going on. Plus, I haven't been super into the new Picard series, so I'm just like, I want some, just classic Star Trek content, for lack of a better word. I wonder if Star Trek Online is doing anything interesting for their 10th anniversary. So I hopped over there. And, of course, what they are doing is that they have a couple anniversary episodes, which are what they call just missions in the game, which is kind of cute. But they also have this enormous bundle, of course, of shiny new starships that you can buy and fly around in the game. But the catch is, for the 10th anniversary, it is like all the, they call them the hero ships from the series. So it's like every version of the Enterprise that has been on the shows. It's got like the Voyager and the Defiant from Deep Space Nine, like all the kind of famous ships.
Oh, wow.
And as I was playing this, it just didn't make sense to have a lot of ships at once because, you can only fly one at a time. And also they ended up releasing a lot of these after I quit playing the game anyway, so I was just like, never had a chance to fly any of these ships. Could be kind of cool just to, tool around for a weekend in all these famous starships.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad this bundle cost $300.
Oh my gosh!
But because like I said, they really like to milk their player base with these extra ships. That's probably been the biggest set of additions to their like in-game shop since the game launched. So I'm just like, what am I gonna do? And then I remember, so when the game first launched, they were selling these like lifetime subscriptions to because it's like it originally was a subscription based game before it went free to play. I forget how much it cost per month, but at the same time they were selling this package where it was like you pay a couple $100 and you no longer have to pay a subscription fee on this game. You don't have to, or they give you a bunch of like little in-game perks as well. And at the time I was just like, the game hadn't come out yet. I played a little bit of the beta. Just like, lifetime subscription, kind of tempting. No more subscription fees, which admittedly I feel like subscription fees it's like the hurdle for people thinking about playing an MMO.
Right.
For some reason they're just like, I'll pay $60 for a game, but not $14.99 for 4 months. That's out of the question. What are you talking about?
Well, because it's never 4 months, because it's...
Well, I mean, it could just be 4 months, depending on how, responsible of an MMO player you are.
Right.
But anyway, I was having the same kind of internal struggle. Just like, subscription fee. I never really paid a subscription fee for an MMO or just any game before. But now they're dangling this lifetime subscription thing in front of me. I'll think about it. So I ended up doing it. And it was fine. Because I ended up playing that game a lot for the next, 2.5 years or however long.
So it was a smart investment for you.
It was a good investment, yeah. I was happy with my decision.
Good.
But then the thing is, so after the game went free to play, after they just eliminated subscription fees, they're like, what do we do with all these like lifetime subscribers who have bought this product that doesn't really do anything anymore? What they started doing is they basically gave all the premium subscribers a stipend every month.
Oh, wow.
So they would just start putting like the in-game premium currency, like I forget how much they give you, like $5-10 every month, as a way of saying like, hey, thanks for, supporting the game, whatever. So
thanks
that was
for buying
cool.
a useless thing.
Yeah. I mean, you still got some perks, and you could still pay like an additional monthly subscription, even though it wasn't required if you just wanted like, I forget what it is, like extra character slots or, the typical stuff that you might expect from a premium sub on a game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like 7.5 years ago. Fast forward to today, I'm looking at this bundle of fancy ships in the shop. I was like, oh, what happened to that stipend? And I go into my account and there's like $500 of fake currency just sitting in it.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, oh, suddenly I know what to do.
It all becomes so clear.
Right. So I bought all these ships and I just spent the weekend, not even really doing a whole lot of like mission stuff. I kind of like just hanging out in this game and, playing it like somebody would play a car simulator like Gran Turismo or something, and just kind of gawking at the ships as I fly around space, because that's always been one of my favorite things about Star Trek. It's just like the ship design. So I'm just like, finally I can fly any version of the Enterprise that I want. I can fly the weird looking J.J. Abrams one if I feel like it. But they're all in there. And it was kind of just a fun excuse to revisit this game that I haven't played in, like 7.5 years, really. And then do some of the anniversary stuff, because that's exciting.
With no real outlay of your money.
Right. Sort of.
Right, yeah. In a roundabout way.
Yeah. And it was real weird, because it feels like, they say, like, you can't go home again. It feels a little bit like that, coming back to this game, where I'm just like, I had, spent quite a lot of time playing this back when it launched. I had a group of friends who I'd play with, and we all do missions together. We all had our ships and our crewmates and everything. And just hanging out now, it's like nobody's online, and they've overhauled a whole lot of the game, so I barely even know how to play it anymore. But no, I was taking my ships around the galaxy for a cruise, and I'd be like, oh, this planet where we would go and, I don't know, fight the Borg or something. And I'd fly past this rundown old freighter, which I think it was one of the very first missions everybody had to do, where it's like, oh man, that freighter, it's still stranded in space waiting for somebody to come help it out. That's funny. But, it was just like going back to like your high school or something. It's just a weird experience.
Everything seems so small.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So that was cool. And now, I definitely didn't have enough time this weekend to fly all the ships in that bundle, so I have to, make some time to go back and check out the rest at some point.
Well, good. It's $300 worth of ships, so, it should last you more than a weekend.
I know. God, can you imagine?
Who's spending $300 in this? That's crazy.
Crazy MMO players.
That is a ballsy ask on behalf of a video game publisher.
Every time they put out one of these ships, it's like $20 to $30, which is like, okay, I get it. It's cool that the game doesn't cost any money to play, but that's so much. Like, I'll see people complaining. They're like, man, we got to pay $5 for like a car in Grand Theft Auto or whatever. And this is like some of the largest, like, quote unquote, microtransactions that I've seen in a game, and they do these regularly. So they'll come out with stuff. They're like, hey, here's a ship that we've always wanted to feature in the game. Oh, but there's also like 3 flavors of it, and there's like, in Star Trek Online at this point, you've got the Federation and the Klingons and the Romulans, so they have to do a 3-ship bundle for each faction. So it's just like every time they come out with one of these, it's like $90 if you want the ships for your faction. Ugh. Or you can buy, if you play all 3 factions, you can buy the mega bundle for like, I don't know, however much that costs. It's insane. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm glad that there are people who can support the game financially for everybody else who wants to play it. Mm-hmm. But man, it is like kind of gross on some level.
Yeah. It's that's crazy.
It got to the point where, they'd be coming out with all these new ships, and I just feel like, well, I want to check one of those out, but yeah, it's expensive. It's a lot.
Well, like you said, how many ships can you fly at once, really? It's just
yeah, and that was the other thing. It's like, I already have my ship and it works fine. So I don't know. Different type of player.
Yeah. So how much was the lifetime subscription when you bought it? Are you making out in this?
I think it was like $200. 2 or like 300. It was I remember I had to think about it for a long time because it was very questionable.
Right.
But I ended up breaking even at least, and now they just pay me every month in fake money.
You go back in 10 years and buy some more ships.
I know. Who knows what they're going to have like 10 years from now. 20th anniversary rolls around.
Right.
So that was fun. I really miss playing that game sometimes. It's kind of a weird contrast because now I just spend all my time playing Final Fantasy instead, which, they're both MMOs, so they have some things in common, but they're quite different. And sometimes I think, man, I wish I could, get a little more of that Star Trek Online experience back.
It doesn't seem like you would get like a reboot of it or a season 2 or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if they would. It's tough to reboot an entire MMO because everybody up to that point is just so invested in the characters they've already got.
Right. They do. Warcraft does kind of the big updates every now and then. The kind of relaunches essentially. Yeah,
but that's more of like those are more expansion packs.
Okay, gotcha.
Like a relaunch, and Star Trek Online still does that as well.
But you wouldn't get like a Star Trek Online 2.
No, not right away. I don't know. I feel like the the original launch happened at a great time because it was just after the first J.J. Abrams movie came out, which was like Star Trek was kind of enjoying its resurgence in popularity after, like, before that had been kind of on life support for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a ton of people who are super into it, and now it's managed to go on for 10 years, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Excellent. You mentioned Final Fantasy XIV. You checked into that this weekend too. What's going on over there?
Oh, it's patch week. The big new patch dropped. Maybe I'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
I was going to make you an offer. I was going to talk about Final Fantasy XIV, but in exchange, you could talk about Animal Crossing a little bit, because I was gonna work that in there somehow. But then you just went and did that on your own.
We had a Nintendo Direct last week. I'm full.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I was gonna talk about.
I am up to my eyeballs in Animal Crossing juice.
Yeah. Ooh.
Gross.
So like pigeon milk.
Pigeon milk, right? Exactly. No. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks, because next week we're gonna do a PAX show. I'm gonna do a PAX show.
Yeah.
And then after that we can do hopes and fears for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I have. As always, my hopes for Animal Crossing are just far beyond what they're actually going to deliver in the new Animal Crossing, but it's fun to speculate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they had some really kind of unexpected and interesting ideas in that new Direct, I thought, so we can go over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the internet has just been full of, like, 33 things you may have missed during the Animal Crossing Direct. And
I know.
I'm going to read all of that, of course.
Did you see the tombstone?
I saw the tombstone.
Who died? Somebody in Animal Crossing died.
Dun, dun, dun.
To be continued.
Come back in 2 weeks and find out.
we don't know who it is.
No, we have no idea. No clue.
Fred Savage.
Yeah. That's how you journey to the Fred Savage planet. All right, we're going to say goodbye. If you need any more video game hangover in your brain, you should follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/VGHangover, or head to our blog at VGHangover.com. Plus Discord. Yeah.
Discord exists. Yep.
It is. Yep, it's a thing.
Learn Japanese thanks to, was it Peters? Give me the Flash Japanese lesson.
It was, yes. Yeah, that was useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else has been happening in the Discord lately. It's been a little quiet.
Just more Animal Crossing.
Just,
I don't know why we need to call that
my attempts to just hammer Animal Crossing memes into the Discord every single day. Yeah. People try to post other things.
They can try, but always comes back to Animal Crossing.
Always drown them out with Animal Crossing. No, I swear it's not that bad, guys. You should come to our Discord. All right. We'll be back next week. Come find me in Boston if you're there. I will be around. Otherwise, talk to you soon. This is Randy Dickinson.
This is DJ Ross.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya. That would have been very confusing for everybody.